Will you grab that battery pack down by Adrian's table, please? Well, you just go ahead and grab me that microphone as well, and I'll just set them up and... Okay.
I'm scared that I can like
Do you want me to turn them on? Which one do you want?
Testing. Continue with your beer.
There's the plastic bit if you want that. It's geared. Up to you.
It stands.
Alright, that's fine.
Hello. Hi.
Where do you want this?
Hi, everybody. Welcome. And thank you for coming to the launch event of Diorite Gear. My name is Mika Nachmani. I am co-founder of Diorite and Knock Outdoors. Knock is the name you guys are probably more familiar with. Our flagship product is the Vecto, which has become a must-have on thru-hikes and backpacking trips around the world. In fact, Knock is actually just an entity within Minimal Gear, which is the name of the little company that Kathleen and I started about 7 years ago. So since then, we've been running Knock as kind of a jack-of-all-trades gear company. Basically, we've been experimenting with and making all the gear that Gilad wanted to have on the trail, but he couldn't find in stores. The Vesta was sort of a surprise hit. It was followed by the Vesta. And suddenly, we found ourselves with a hydration company that also made other things, like trekking poles, tent stakes, and more. But actually, the thing is, our first product was trekking poles. When you got through hikes the Cape Wrath Trail in Scotland in 2015, broke, I don't know, his millionth pair of poles, and he thought that there must be a way of making a better product, and a product that he could fix for himself when he was in the middle of nowhere. So when he quit his job, 7 or 8 months later, 2 months before, to start a company, that's where we began, was with trekking poles. Back then, they were made in China. Every design change was super painfully complicated and laborious, and it was also often not great. It was really clear that we have to keep working on the poles and also have other products to offer. So our next product was the Vecto. It was a runaway success, and actually for a while we just stopped making poles altogether. Manufacturing in China wasn't working out for us. We couldn't figure out / couldn't afford making the poles anywhere else, and basically just paused making the poles for a while. And then the Vecto happened. And there we were, a Vecto company with kind of various other random offerings. And in the meantime, we were growing into ourselves as a company. We were establishing priorities in environmentalism, leave no trace principles, innovative and minimalist design, community, and all that kind of thing. Now, while we could embody those values in a lot of ways with our hydration product line, it became pretty clear to Gilad and I that we would need to move manufacturing of the poles to the US before we started making them again. And thus began a long, very, very, very painful process that resulted in what are really remarkable poles, except for that at that point, we had become this hydration company that also wanted to sell poles, and there's confusion in the market about what exactly we were doing and why. So what we needed was to establish a distinct and separate brand, which is what that's today. Diorite Gear is a brand that makes trekking poles, tent poles, and the relevant supporting accessories. Currently focusing on products based on carbon fiber. We believe in the right to repair, harkening back to United frustrations on the Cape Wrath Trail. We are walking our talk about shorter supply chains for both local economic as well as environmental benefits. We're able to execute on faster innovations while always pursuing minimalist and durable designs. So, what does this look like in the real world? Minimal Gear used to only trade as Knock, but now we'll have another brand under its umbrella, which is Diorite Gear. This will allow us to put the right amount of time, people, and resources where they're needed the most, while also, additionally, Diorite will benefit from all the work that we've done over the last 7 years. Minimal Gear is a certified B Corp. We give 20% of the company's profits to nonprofits operating in the outdoor space. The adopted a section of PCT. The team is out there regularly, I think almost monthly at this point, doing trail maintenance. And we've been working on component recyclability for like years at this point. There is no anticipated change to the product line. So poles, stakes, any of those things that companies may have had, those are still going to be, and those are still going to continue to be made. We have carbon fiber trekking poles with EVA or cork grips, both as singles or as pairs. We have tent stakes, which started as sort of a happy accident. We have tent poles that were the result of cross-adventure people wanting to take the same tent that they use the trekking poles also on bike packing trips. So this is something our family does. Use the same tents for backpacking and bike packing, but we just exchange the poles for a lighter and more compact version when we're bike packing. And none of those products are going to go away. Not only are they not going away, they'll become better without changing any of the dimensions, allowing for back-version compatibility. So if you've got a pair already, that's fine. Everything new and improved that we're going to come out with will continue to be compatible with those. What we look forward to is a more focused, deliberate, and intentional brand identity that Diorite will allow us to provide. Diorite is a company committed to shortening our supply chain. As far as we know, we are the only company making our poles in the U.S. with component parts sourced from the U.S. wherever possible. So we'll continue to make our carbon fiber poles. Our carbon fiber poles are made right here in Portland in our warehouse, over at 20th and Powell. We're going to continue to do that. The carbon fiber is sourced from a company just up the road in Mount Vernon in Washington, which is 4 hours away. They have, that company, by the way, it's called Liquid, and they supply the carbon fiber for the NASA drone, not the rover, the drone. This is a very important distinction. Anyways, it's very cool. It's the same company, and we've got their carbon fiber in the poles that you guys are using, which is super cool, right? Anyways, and we're gonna, there's every intention, we're gonna continue to work with them. We've got a great relationship. No intention of changing it. We have designed the quick locks here. They're made in Corvallis, which is an hour away. While we can't make the cork in the U.S. for legal regulatory reasons, we are actually working on a process by which we could recycle cork that's already stateside and mold it into grips, which, for the record, isn't actually just for us. We're kind of working to develop a compressed cork manufacturing industry right here in Portland. It's an example of our dedication to innovation, the environment, and sourcing component parts as locally as possible. So something we're working on. Years and I've for that. We're doing our best there. Looking forward, we would love to be able to offer aluminum poles as well. Currently, we don't have access to the materials and processes we would need to make them. We are looking into whether we could find a domestic partner who could do it for us, to do it with us, like the way that we have the Goodwins for the carbon fiber. If not, we'll just have to do what we're doing with the grips, which is to reshore a whole industry that makes anodized and finishes aluminum tubes for a pole. Kind of a big project, but it's something that we're all really excited about. So, anyway, that's sort of looking forward. That's something we've got going. Something I think is particularly great about the new brand and the way that it approaches gear is the sort of modular aspects. And sort of we're looking at the potential sort of opportunity set of what we're doing. Poles that are designed for different uses have subtle changes that make them more appropriate for the right activity, whether it's backpacking, backcountry skiing, mountaineering, ski mountaineering, whatever. They all use poles, but the poles have slightly different configurations. And by bringing back grip manufacturing in-house, we'll be able to offer a pole that can have modular parts basically according to the activity. So short for summer, evening for winter, long rips for backcountry skiing, or maybe even a built-in whippet, sort of like an ice axe for ski mountaineer ice skating. The idea being that you could have the right grips with the same hold for whatever activity you're going out and participating in. The idea being, as we bring more manufacturing in-house, the opportunities are pretty much endless, and we will continue to be a company driven by innovation, epic adventures, and environment. So, before I let you guys enjoy your beer and the great panel that we're all really excited about, I just want to mention one last thing, which is anybody who knows like forgive me for not knowing this. From the very beginning, we started making these valve poles that were 5 segments, super small, they were super light, they were super quick to deploy, and somewhere in the reshoring process, we had to drop them. And I just want to let everybody know, it's not necessarily on your radar at all. It's on our design table. It's something that you guys have been really excited about for pretty much ever. We're still intending to find a way to make them. So we want to make collapsible, light, and domestically made, fully repairable 3,000. It's a little part of our origin story, but just done through Diorite style. So that's all I've got. Thank you for being here, everyone. To our panel. I hope you all stick around for that. And just thank you for coming and supporting the launch of this brand that will hopefully produce some of your favorite pieces of gear in a way that makes us all feel a little bit better about where we are and what we're doing in the world. So that's it. I'm going to pass it over to Kathleen.
Hey all, I have to do about 30 seconds of futzing with microphones, so turn to the person next to you, tell them your favorite backpacking product and why. You have 30 seconds, go.
What's your favorite backpacking product? And why is it that canal water bottles? They actually are?
Yeah,
Yeah, but like, I was not going to do it.
yeah, she's like
Wait, I think it'll be like
Thank you, Mika. All right, I hope you had an excellent conversation with your table mates. Like Mika said, I'm Becky. I'm the marketing manager and customer experience manager. The simplest way to think of my job is if you are engaging with us in any way, you're probably engaging with me. And in that role, I get to host our panel tonight, which I'm really excited about. I was still involved in the selection of our
all around. Hey.
and I'm really excited to introduce them. I picked them for their expertise, aggressive adventure resumes. We really wanted people that walk the walk, and they definitely do. Very excited to hear what they have to say, so let's meet them. Starting with our first panelist. She is the co-founder of the outdoor gear review publication, Thru-hiker, former board member at All the West, and a prolific thru-hiker. She has thru-hiked the Triple Crown of America's Long Distance Lakes Coyotes, of America's distance hiking trails, the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail, as well as a really significant chunk of the rest of the trails in America. For those local to Oregon, she is one of the very few folks to have thru-hiked the Oregon Desert Trail, and she completed the first known thru-hike of the Blue Mountains Trail. Please give a very warm welcome to our first panelist, Naomi Cadet.
Hi, thank you so much, Becky. As Becky said, I'm one of the founders of True Line Review, and I founded this company about 4.5 years ago with a friend and hiking partner, Liz Thomas. And we have two main goals. One of them is to provide gear reviews and comparative gear reviews and trip reports and how-to articles like how to train for your first century ride and how to get into ice climbing. And we also have another secondary goal, which is to help people buy gear right the first time, save you money, less gear in landfills, and we try to do it in a warm, welcoming way so that people who are usually underrepresented in the outdoor world feel comfortable in being in nature. Thank you.
Our second panelist is the Assistant Mountaineering Director and an instructor at Climbers of Color, a member of Portland Mountain Rescue, and an AMGA apprentice alpine guide. She is also the founder of the Color the Cascades Scholarship, an annual scholarship that provides women and genderqueer people of color living in Oregon and Washington with some of the necessary gear needed to pursue mountaineering. Her favorite outdoor adventures blend mountaineering and trail running, which is likely the motivation behind her favorite adventure, a single-day summit and circumnavigation of Mount Everest. Everyone give a warm welcome to Theresa Silveyra.
I have nothing else to add.
That's like
Our last panelist is known as the Hungry Hiker on YouTube. She's a thru-hiker, solo long-distance backpacker, and backpacking coach. I think some of her students are here tonight. She is the creator of the Confident Solo Female Backpacker System, a comprehensive, self-paced, online backpacking program for women designed to help solo women hikers get more comfortable heading out on trails by themselves. Please put your hands together for Kathleen Neves. So I will give you guys all a heads up. I have some questions that I'm going to ask, but we are going to have an audience Q&A at the end. So if I say anything and you're like, ooh, I want to know more about that, keep your question in your brain and I'll call on you at the end and you'll get a chance to share it. But let's start with my question.
Ready?
All right, so we'll go in order. I'll ask the question and we'll go down the line. But if anyone has any thoughts or anything they want to add, feel free to do so. I have a very first question. What aspects did you value most in gear when you started your activity, and what do you value in gear now after a long experience?
Okay, so when I started backpacking, probably in the mid-90s, all of my gear was either hand-me-downs or bark, which meant that it didn't fit right or it was old and decrepit. And what ultimately would happen was I would, like I had an external Kelty frame backpack with all of the pockets and zippers and the big frame across the bottom where you could strap stuff. And the hip belt didn't have any padding and there was no sternum strap, and so I would end each day in extreme pain. And that's what I thought backpacking was. I thought that kind of pain was just part of the game, blisters from the heavy leather hiking boots. So when I was prepping for my first thru hike, my goal then was I want to be comfortable. I want the best fitting pack. I want the cushiest pad to sleep on. I want the most comfortable shoes. But what I wasn't getting as part of the equation was that I was just carrying too much stuff. My pack was too heavy. That's what's causing the pain. Well, part of what's causing the pain on your shoulders and your hips and your feet, just too much weight. And so then over the years, I sort of swung to the other end of the pendulum, went to the ultralight side, with a frameless backpack, no stove, and ultimately I've come back somewhere in the middle there. Is a comfort zone where I carry just what I need for the conditions that I'm going to be in. I don't carry any extra gear unless I know something's going to happen. And And that is what makes me comfortable. And I also, you know, I've heard the expression, you pack your gears, and I think that's true. And the more experience you get, the fewer gears you have, and the fewer extra gear stuff to pack for your gears that you have. So, yeah, that's what I thought of today.
I don't think my like what I look for in gear has really changed that much over the years. But I think the two main things I look for are like durability, like how long is the product going to last me, and can I put it through the ringer for like a decent amount of time without having to spend more money to replace it or repair it. And then also versatility, kind of for the same reasons, but when it comes down to money. Especially in mountaineering, I've been mountaineering for maybe 6 or 7 years now, and especially now that I'm guiding like my gear sees a lot of wear and tear every season, and so some of the things I look for the most are just like how long that's going to last, and yeah, those are the two main things I look for, I guess.
Awesome, Kathleen?
So when I was planning for my first thru hike, I went down the rabbit hole of trying to find gear. It was like I wanted to find something light, I wanted to be comfortable, but I didn't really know what I was looking for. And so I did all this research and bought all this stuff that I thought I was supposed to be. And when I got out on trail, I was like, wow, my pack is really heavy. So over the years, I've really dialed back my gear, and you know, I will never be ultralight, but it is important that I lower my base weight as much as possible, and so, but I also want to be comfortable. That's like my first and foremost priority of being out on trails, because when I'm out there, I just want to have fun, and I want to enjoy myself while I'm out there, so I want my pack to feel comfortable, and I want lots of pockets, and I want, you know, my gear to be very efficient, and I like also multi-use gear, so I can, you know, use something for a bunch of different uses. So that's just what's important to me, and also to you know, price. Like, gear is really expensive, and I've gone through and I've had to rebuy numerous pieces of gear just for various reasons because they didn't work for me. And so, you know, finding something that's a little less expensive but that is also still going to be comfortable. But I think most importantly is definitely comfort for sure.
Awesome, thanks guys. This one is, I'm interested to know your guys' answer. How do you approach women-specific gear when you're shopping? So how important is it to the user to find gender products that have specific situations that matter for them?
Yeah, this is a good question. I think that I've bought both men's and women's products for pretty much everything except pants. And that's basically because women have hips and men's don't, men don't fit. But at the same time, I think it's a bummer because for the most part, women's pants do not have functional pockets and men's do. So I wish I could buy men's pants. And so I think for the most part, I would say it doesn't matter. And I would like to see more gear manufacturers not necessarily provide distinctions between men and women's gear, but just provide provide, like, for example, packs. Like, packs that you can interchange the parts. You have broad shoulders, you can change the straps out, the shoulder straps to fit your shoulders better. Change the hip belt to fit your hips better. If you want padding, more padding, less padding. If you want hip belt pockets or you don't. I don't think it necessarily needs to be gender specific. And for packs in particular, for me, I have a super long torso for my height, and I've yet to see a women's specific pack that will fit my torso. So overall, I'd say it doesn't matter.
I'm kind of on the same page with Naomi in terms of like I don't think it matters that much. I think in the ways that it has mattered personally for me has been more like very similar with like clothing, like some especially for me, like I'm kind of on the smaller side, so even for like women's clothing, sometimes I need to go to like children's clothing. That's for me what it really matters. And also with shoes, especially mountaineering boots, having women's specific mountaineering boots is really helpful. Just because in terms of like not just feet size but like width and stuff, it's nice to have the option to have smaller sizes. And even in that realm, climbing industry isn't doing enough there. I still can't find technical boots that fit me, and a lot of them are still only offered in non-gendered sizes, so that makes it difficult. But in terms of a lot of like technical climbing gear, most of that's not very gender specific. But also like similar to what Naomi was mentioning, climbing packs is another one too that in some ways having a gender specific pack usually means like the women's size is going to be a little bit smaller. But I still also run into the same issue where I still can't find ones that fit my torso at like 4'11". So I feel you. Yeah. So yeah, it's helpful for some things, especially when it comes to like fit. But in a lot of ways, I don't think it really matters. And I think keeping things open for whatever works best for everybody is nice. I had one more thing I wanted to add. Oh yeah. Aside from just gendered products, I think something that I think would be greater to expand on between, rather than just like making more differentiations to gendered products, is expanding size ranges, especially when it comes to like technical clothing. I still think like most brands have a long ways to go in terms of the range of sizes and like the like body sizes that they accommodate to give out better gear for a lot of activities. That's something that I think could definitely be included upon besides the use of gender.
Yeah, my gear nightmare is a unisex small medium large. That's not Kathleen.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that. So I'm not really the only thing that I buy that's gender specific is clothing. That's just because I think something is going to fit around my hips, my chest, but size. I feel like there definitely needs to be improvement on the variety of sizes that are offered across the board, so that there's safe clothing for every body that wants to be out there. I feel like that holds a lot of people back from putting it on those who can't find clothes that they need for the safety. So if we had more sizes for clothing that we would make for activities, I feel like people that want to participate with them. But in terms of like my pack, I just go off the really size, how it fits, features, but it doesn't really have to be like I'm not necessarily particular one that we have. Yeah, four colors.
That's my mom. Just have that moment. Purple. Okay. So how do you think about repairability, either short or long term, when you are gear shopping? And how is what activity you're doing determine that decision?
So repairability, I think on a thru-hike is an absolute must. And I'll give you an example. So when I hiked the Great Divide Trail through the Canadian Rockies with my husband, and on day 2, his inflatable pad is from a leak. And we had a repair kit, but the leak was not on the fabric, it was on the seam, and it was not repairable. So we were probably nearly 2 weeks from a gear store, so he spent 2 weeks sleeping on a pad that he could inflate it, and slowly over the course of the evening or the night, it would deflate, and he'd wake up cold and on the hard ground for 2 weeks. So we got to a gear shop, and he could buy a nice foam pad that would not function. And his old inflatable pad went to the landfill. So I you've got to be able to, you got to be able to repair your gear, you got to know how to repair it, you've got to have your stuff with you. You carry thermal floss and like a knitting needle to be able to repair your hip belt and your shoulder straps. I've seen all of those things fail on bikes, and that can be catastrophic. So to me, it's an absolute must.
So when I'm looking for gear, I'm definitely also looking at like if what I'm getting is something that I can fix on my own or offers parts that I can buy that I can replace. Just so that like what they were saying is like my stuff doesn't go to the landfill and it like break something on it or like is there something, do I have to throw away the whole product or can I do something to fix it or make it work for like a longer period of time? So yeah, and then similarly, just like knowing how to fix that gear on my own, like the most basic things. I think duct tape is my favorite thing to bring climbing and especially on like overnight climbing trips. I use it a lot for whenever I like puncture or break or need to put back together to like at least last the rest of the trip. So.
Tenacious tape.
I'm a big fan of duct tape.
I have duct tape on my trekking poles, and I always put tenacious tape. Absolutely. I had a mouse break into my tent on one of my trips before, and it ended up being 2 mice. And I have the repair on my tent with the tenacious tape still, so it's a nice reminder of maybe don't think smart. I also have a gear repair story when I was on one of my thru-hikes where I think it was night 4, we got caught in a really crazy windstorm, and one of my tent poles snapped in half. And it was really devastating because it was a freestanding tent and I really needed that tent pole. And so I went back to the company, the tent company, and called them and started crying. It was like, I'm a thru-hiker, my tent pole. And they were just wonderful and sent me the things that I needed to repair my poles. And so I'm still able to this day able to use that tent. So it did not go in the landfill. I was really excited and I got to finish my hike, which was the more exciting. So yeah, definitely having the right components to be able to repair your gear out in the field is extremely important to go on the tent.
Yeah, absolutely. How does a company's values and ethos impact your choice to buy from them? And if it's something you take into consideration, what company values do you especially prioritize?
So yeah, I definitely look for some things in companies. Some of the things I like are, whether they support environmental causes, whether they have environmental manufacturing processes in place, and humane treatment of animals. If there's animals involved, like responsible wool standard, responsible down standard, both of those things are easy to check, and if they're using those standards, they are proud to advertise that, so it's easy to find out. And I also look for certified B Corps, which is what Canuck is, and I also look for cottage gear local companies as well. I think that that's where the innovation is. That's where you're going to get the best products that meet your needs. Yeah, and at the same time, there's companies like Patagonia out there who are, for example, they totally destructed Outdoor Retailer when they said we're not going to go as long as it's still in Utah, because Utah is the public lands are under attack from their state government, and Patagonia said we're not going to do this anymore, and as a result, they moved to Denver. Eventually, a few years later, they moved it back to Utah, and Patagonia said we're not coming. REI said we're not coming. So those kinds of things have an impact, and I feel like one of the best ways that we as individuals can make an impact is with our wallet, and make our views known that way. It's one of the few ways that we have to exert our influence over people with power that otherwise we wouldn't have. So I choose to vote with my wallet.
Just a heads up, Patagonia, also a B Corp. Shout out to fellow B Corps.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably piggyback off of a lot of what Naomi said, because that covered a lot of it for me, but I do also like to look for local companies, especially like Pacific Northwest-based companies and places that try to locally source their materials to the best of their ability and manufacture locally or at least in the States. That's not always the easiest thing, especially when it comes to like just having ready accessibility to some of this gear. Like smaller companies, sometimes you might not be able to get the gear right away, or it takes, it's just whenever it's like a smaller organization, just processes can take longer. And so if I'm looking at like larger companies, I look for similar things like what are their like social and environmental values, what are they standing up for publicly, and so that's what I'll look for a lot in larger corporations. And then also maybe like what more community-led efforts they're doing, especially for like bigger places that have like smaller retailers within cities, and like if those places themselves are like doing community events or supporting the outdoor community in various ways, then I'm more inclined to support those places as well.
I'm also looking for women-owned companies, be more women out in this industry. And so anytime I come across a company that's women-owned, I absolutely want to support them. And also customer service. When I'm out on trail, I want to know that that company is going to stand behind their product, and if I need their help, if I need a replacement, that they've got my back, and they're not going to make me have to buy another product, that they're actually going to help me repair what I have. So that's really important to me. The companies are going to stand behind their product, especially when I'm asking them.
This is kind of my last base question before we start moving towards the audience Q&A. What have you seen change in gear offerings over time? And what would you like to see the industry offer more of in the future?
So there's definitely, it's a great example, a proliferation of cottage gear companies out there, and it seems like every day there's a new ultralight pack company out there. I exaggerate, but there's a ton of them. And I think that's great. I think they're out there making very niche products for things that they themselves wanted to use but couldn't find, like rain mitts, for example. So there's that side of it. And at the same time, I think that there's big manufacturers also coming after the ultralight market. Osprey just announced their brand new thru-hiking packs that are about 2 pounds. So they're trying to find their way to the thru-hiking market as well. And I also think we're seeing a trend towards inclusivity with sizes, but it's still very new, it's very small, and that's where I think the outdoor industry needs to step it up. They need to find their way and provide better sizes, better options. Like I was saying, I think the interchangeable parts would go a long way to help that. And I think that the cottage gear manufacturers are the ones setting the innovation, they're setting the tone, and I think it's almost entirely possible to outfit yourself for a thru-hike with entirely cottage gear, or nearly. Probably not shoes. Yeah.
I think kind of the most obvious advancement just in general for like a lot of gear, like not just backpacking gear, but also like mountaineering and climbing gear, is like making things lighter and lighter without having to sacrifice durability or trying to sacrifice it if possible. So that's something that I definitely enjoyed, because climbing gear is really heavy. especially for guiding. I feel like I can never lighten my pack enough when I have to take people out. So having that advancement is nice, and then also having more companies do that and be competitive with it has also helped with like prices for some of that gear, because it's only just like one place offering it, or not many places offering this type of gear. It was like you either spend like your entire savings to get like a lighter rack equipment, versus like now where there's more options and it's like help bring down prices a little bit. It's still really expensive, but like there's more options out there to choose from to make it like, I don't want to say affordable, but approachable in terms of finance. But similar to like when we brought up the question about like seeking out genderqueer, the biggest thing that hasn't really been happening is the expansion of sizes. I think especially not just when it comes to like gear, but especially clothing. That's something that hasn't picked up enough steam and it needs to.
I've been seeing more less expensive gear, so a lot of different options instead of just the pricey stuff, like camping stoves, there's just more variety out there. Also, I would love to see clothing, I don't care if it's for men or women, but with more pockets. I need pockets in everything. I need pockets in my fleece, I need pockets in my tights, I just want pockets. I mean, the pack that I have now, I have it because I didn't realize how much I love pockets. And I'm super happy it's a smaller company too because I really want to support my smaller companies as well. So yeah, more pockets, more sightseeing, and more.
There was a lot of just aggressive nodding from the audience during that whole portion. I don't know if you guys noticed. So I think you're not alone. Before I totally open things up to the audience, I just want to give you guys a chance. If folks want to find you somewhere or follow projects that you're working on, what's the best place for them to do that?
For me, it's treelinereview.com.
There's a newsletter sign on our desk up there for Tree Line.
There's and stickers and my business cards, so please help yourself.
I'm mostly just on Instagram. For me, I guess my personal one, but I also have a separate one for my scholarship. And then I guess my Climbers of Color email is the best way if like somebody wanted to like just personally get in touch or send a message or something. That would be the best way because I'm on Instagram, but I'm really bad at checking messages and responding, so maybe don't talk to me. That sounds really antisocial. I'm just really bad at responding.
That scholarship was Color the Cascades, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So if you guys are into YouTube videos, you can find me on YouTube. I'm the Hungry Hiker. Super easy to find me. On Instagram, _the Hungry Hiker. And then I also have my program, the Confident Solo People Backpacker System, which search, that'll come up on my website, which is the-hungry-hiker. So really, if you just Google the Hungry Hiker, you can probably find it.
And I do believe there's some students here, so if you want reviews, they're in that general area, and I'm sure they'd be happy to give them to you. All right, it is time for our audience Q&A. A couple of things before we get started. I will call on you, so you'll raise your hand. Please yell at me. No one else needs to hear your question, but I need to hear your question. I'll repeat it for everybody else. Like yell as loud as you can. I'm going to stand up because I feel like I can hear better that way. Who's got a question for our panelists? Go for it. So that question was, of all of the gear that you have, what gear is still in rotation that you still use today from the very beginning? I have some of these and I call them my OG gear. I talk about them all the time. So interested to hear your answers.
For me, it's probably my adiabatic quilt. And I had that for 10 years now. I still use it. I will use it on my next hike. And for me, it passes the ultimate gear test. If it was suddenly stolen or I lost it, what would I replace it with? And I would replace it with the exact same thing.
That's kind of a hard one for me to answer. I think because before I started mountaineering, I got into backpacking first. Like I did this very kind of slow, gradual progression from like having no outdoor experience maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, and like starting to like go on my first hikes, and then starting to trail run, and then starting to backpack, and then just kind of jumping into technical mountaineering. So I still have like some stuff from all those very like older eras, but they don't see as much use because I focus mainly on climbing. But I think one thing that I still use a lot today that has stuck with me since I started mountaineering, I still have the same pair of mountaineering boots from like 2016. And that makes me really happy because they were like $500. So I'd really like to not replace them
Or last forever.
a while longer. Yeah. And I don't think if they're less Mika boots, and I don't think the model I have is been made anymore. So I'd be pretty sad if they busted up to the point where I couldn't use them. Because like I was mentioning earlier, it's really hard to find good technical mountaineering boots that I can take, not just general mountaineering, but also like vertical ice climbing and water ice climbing and other stuff that actually fit me. And so I think it's going to be really tragic if destroyed or stolen or something.
I don't think stick around forever.
I do too.
That's really hard because on my first hike, I feel like since my first hike, I've changed all my gear, except for my toolkit. My toolkit is the only thing that I've kept the same. But since after my first hike, I've done a ton of hiking, lots of section hikes, getting ready for another hike, and so after initially changing down gear, I would say the thing that I've had the longest is I've had the same tent sleep system. I went from a sleeping bag to a quilt, and I will never go back to a sleeping bag along with my sleeping pad. So, and my pack. Now I finally have a pack that I absolutely love. But yeah, I changed everything, and for the better because I've learned what's important to me with the gear that's kind of out there. So.
I'm surprised that boots can last. After sunglasses, travels are the thing I'm most on.
I never lose my job.
And they break.
All right, anyone else have a question they want to yell at me? Go for it.
Gossamer gear, Mariposa 16. It's amazing. And I have in purple, thanks to Gary. And warning. So how I found that pack was I was actually on a backpacking trip, and I've been an Osprey lover like my whole hiking career, and so I swerved it down by Osprey, but then I was like, I want to venture out. I want to try something maybe try to get my pack a little lighter. So I was on this trip, and there was two other people on the trip who had my gear, and I was looking at the pack, and they're like, you interested in our pack? Yeah, you should check it out. You want to try it on? Check out the pockets. And I'm like, okay. And I tried it on, and I just fell in love. Once I saw these pockets and like felt how comfortable it was, how much lighter it was, they literally said, choose the dark side and get the miracle.
Kathleen, can I just say, my mom was purple. Also, that is the pack that she uses. It's purple. Any other questions from the audience? There's a stairs. Okay, so that question was your most recommended hike to complete in a week, and I'm looking at a thru hike. So, and then, all right, what do we say?
How many days? 7?
Wow, that's, I would probably say the northern Washington section of the Pacific Crest Trail. I would probably start, somewhere south of Stehegan and go to the border. That is spectacular country. And I think it's scenically probably the best stretch of the PCT. So pick the time, and when the weather's good. I've been up there 3 times, and I've only really seen it once because the other 2 times it was raining or snowing or cold. So yeah, that's the beauty of a section hike, is you can pick the best time.
Theresa, this question is maybe we want to word it differently for you. Is there a route or a mountain you'd recommend?
I mean, I'd actually go with the section that I love the North Cascades. So like that area of the PCT is just amazing. In terms of like more like technical ranges, looking at like I haven't done it myself, and it's on my bucket list, and it includes like actually climbing everything in the range, but traversing the picket range in the North Cascades is like very high on the list. But I think even like hiking or backpacking it requires like some amount of technical training. Like there's a lot of glacier travel and I think 4th and 5th class climbing to like get over the various passes. So just even as a hike is kind of involved, but it's been on my list for years.
So, of course, ECT in Washington, really all of Washington. I would say Section L for Brady Pass, tag the border, and then come back to Brady Pass. That's an awesome weaker. Section K, 128 miles from Stevens Pass to Brady Pass. Section J would probably be a good one you can do in like less than 7 days from Snoqualmie Pass to Stevens. But my ultimate favorite, where everything started for me, was the Grand Canyon Trail. 25 miles from northern rim to south rim, and it's so gorgeous. I try and go every year, and it's just such a magical place. My absolute favorite place to go.
I would also recommend that as a run. I've done that, the rim to rim as a run, and it was very fun. Like to do it like a day. It was hard, but I mean really cool to like cover that much of an expanse and like that much diverse terrain in one area. I think that was also my first time going to the Grand Canyon, and we did that, so I was like, whoa, this is so cool.
That's a big bucket for me.
Yeah.
You would have done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's spectacular. I totally agree.
Did you get the ideas? Favorite on-trail meal or snack?
Mac and
Pickles.
cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Annie's mac and cheese.
We were told we can't eat box of lights, so we're very afraid of the top.
So generally when I'm out like guiding or in the mountains, I really hate cooking. Like I hate it with a passion. Like yeah, especially when I'm out guiding and I have to like work with people all day. The last thing I want to do is sit down and cook my food. So before a lot of my multi-day trips, I'll go buy a large Domino's pizza and I'll put it in some like gallon-sized bags and shove it in my packet. That's my favorite. And it lasts. I mean, you're on a glacier for 4 days and you're like 30 to 40 degrees out, sleeping on the snow. It's like a refrigerator, so you can keep your pizza good for about 5 days. And it's solid. I haven't gotten sick yet.
Y'all, if you are planning on thru-hiking in the future, a skill that is good is how to strap a pizza box to the top of your pack. It comes in handy.
Pickles. Pickles are my absolute favorite snack. Pickles and gummy bears. And then I am someone, I just have one day. I'm a very food motivated hiker. So I feel like I plan my food first and foremost before I even think about packing my gear. I always want to know what I'm going to have in case and then I hike to.
I think we can do one more question. Does anyone have a question to end on? I gotta give it to you. Go ahead, my friend. Okay, I'll let you guys define this question. So it's how many thru hikes or routes have you hiked total in your career? Naomi, we need to come to you last. We'll go backwards for this one. Kathleen, are you ready?
So 2018, I hiked the PCT from Mexico to Canada. 2019, I attempted to do it again. I got introduced before. I did the JT trail, so the John Deere trail last summer. Was out there for 10 days, very luxurious usually. And then I section hiked all of Washington to get on this.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I am not patient enough to do
Yes.
but I do like running ultra distances, and so I've done the Timberline Trail a few times, and I backpacked it twice, and I realized I just really hated carrying stuff, and so I've run it maybe 2 or 3 times, like in a day, and then
Timberline is 40 miles for folks.
and then, yeah, it's a lot of water crossings. Those are not my favorite. But I actually have a funny story of the last one I did. Was when I did, so my husband and I wanted to do a summit and circumnav of the mountain in 24 hours. We did it in like 23 and a half. We really came in under the minute.
And I think we're listening to the FAC for that as a couple.
Yeah, because we're the only don't want us. I think there's been like a couple of other guys that have done it. I don't know about any of the women that have done it. So it's probably like the slowest time possible for it, and somebody else would go out and attempt it. Like I think it'd be fine, but we did it at a very. It was more like, well, nobody's got it on there, so I'm just gonna go for it and go as slow as I want to, which is exactly what I did.
You're saying slow, it was less than 20 miles.
But the last water crossing, we were like hitting like a thunderstorm, and so it was already like starting to pour rain, and it was early season, and so the water levels were really high. Like I'd done the trail before, and I always done it late summer, early fall, when the water levels were a lot lower, and the snow melt was affecting the water levels, and this time it was, and all of the water crossings were like 10 times harder than I thought they were going to be. And we got to the very last one, and my husband, he's not super tall, like 5'7", but like could jump across it. And I thought I could too, but I'm and like jumped across, and I slipped on a rock, and like fell in, like completely submerged. And then we still had to run 15 miles. Oh, it was not bad. But anyway, so the Timberline Trail, and then I think group tour to it is probably one of my favorite, like in a day ultras to do. I've only done it once, but I would really like to go out and do it again. I feel like there's a couple more that I think I just haven't done. In a day, you can find
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it depends what you consider. I think it's probably 17.
I strongly recommend reading Becky's bio on Treeline Review and be like, how did Becky try to sum up all of these trails in a sentence? And I did my best. It's a long list. All right, that's it. That's the end of our Q&A, and I just want to thank you guys so much. This was amazing. Thank you guys so much for calling. I will see you. We're going to do a giveaway. You can leave your mic on your tools. It is giveaway time. So if you use the QR code, you're entered for a giveaway. And Galad has hopefully picked me a giveaway winner. These are the 001 pair prototype diagrams. These are the first ones made, the very, very first ones. We wrapped them up all nice for you. One of you is going home with them tonight. Galad, are you ready to read the name? Let's do a drum roll. Can we do a drum roll?
Mika.
Congratulations. The 00, we marked them 001 for you, so you'll know. It's a little bit of Diorite Gear history. For those those of you that did not win, the polls we're in the process of making our very first sellable batch right now. As of this moment, if you go to dioritegear.com, that site exists and there's polls for pre-sale. If you want a pair, they are there to purchase pre-sale. We do have sets of the polls. These are all our prototypes on the table over there. I do want to flag 2 people. If you've got questions, Salon right there and Adrian somewhere back there. They're our fabrication team. They made those polls with their own hands. If you've got questions, they're the people that you're going to want to ask. Last thing to follow us. Follow our socials, guys. That's me. I run those. So follow me on the socials, and I will give you all the news for Diorite Gear. They're all at Diorite Gear. We've been live streaming this panel, so if you want to watch it again, it's going to be on our Instagram and on our YouTube tomorrow. So follow all those and subscribe. Before I let you get to your beers and we'll mingle and I do just want to give a shout out to our host, Barrels Brewing. They've been really amazing. It's been great to work with them. I hope you took away that we like to keep things local here. Barelick is just down the street from us. We're down at the 20th and Powell. So a lot of us have been biking over here as we've been prepping for this event. Meant a lot to us that we got to keep it local. They're also independently owned, which is pretty rare for a brewery. In Portland, we appreciate that as a small business. So show them appreciation the best way you can, which is by buying beers and tipping your bartenders. Thank you guys so much for coming. We really appreciate that you were here. This has been amazing. Thank you for coming out on a rainy evening. If you've got questions for us, we'll be around. Enjoy your beer. Buy pizza. The pizza's really great, especially if you're vegan like me. Have a great night, guys.
Okay.
Pretty good.